decade now. So this is our 10th year. I was an entrepreneur by training. Then I became a venture capitalist for 12 years. In that time, I started MedTech Innovator, and we spun it out to be a standalone entity, which would be an accelerator designed to find the best companies in the world and make them successful. So, so with that, let me tell you a little bit about the actual program. So I'm going to go ahead and share some slides quickly here. So again, my name is Paul Grand. What we do at MedTech Innovator is try and find the world's best companies. Wherever they may be, we don't care where they're based, as long as they're going to deliver value, ultimately. And we try to find those companies and partner them up with the people who can actually help them succeed. We're the largest accelerator in the world. We focus on devices, diagnostics, digital health technologies. And what you're looking at on the screen here is a graduating class of MedTech Innovators 2019 Asia Pacific program. That was the last time we were in person in our Asia Pacific program. We are now in person in our US program, and hopefully our Asia Pacific program will follow. But I will say we are going to be in person for the end of the program this year. A little more about MedTech Innovator. So basically, as I said before, we're an accelerator, but we're not a startup accelerator that's looking for people with ideas that we can, teach how to be companies and how to start companies. We're looking for people who are up and running. We're looking for people who have teams, who have technology, who can be successful. We have 420 alumni companies in MedTech Innovator who've been through our programs. Going back to 10 years, these companies, if you look at some of the stats here on the screen, 95% of them are still in business or have been acquired. 135 have products on the market as we speak, which is really the most important statistic. They've been very successful in fundraising, over $4.4 billion in follow-on equity funding, 1.8 billion of which was last year alone. That's about 1 in 5 financings in the entire medtech sector are in the MedTech Innovator portfolio, which is pretty amazing for scale. We've had 25 acquisitions. We're basically, as I said before, the world's best ecosystem for medical technology. And when we look at startups, we really evaluate them in 3 categories: value, execution, and momentum. Value being the value that your product's going to bring to the market. Execution being your ability to execute on milestones and deliver the product that we're all hoping you're going to deliver. That could be everything from your team and your regulatory, your pathway and your plan, to the funding required, the clinical burden, and so on. We want to make sure you can actually execute on these milestones. And then lastly, the momentum. We want to make sure that you're achieving things and that your time to these milestones is reasonable, and that you're going to make progress during our program and in the future. So we're looking at these main categories, and a lot of the sub-bullets between here are things that our judges will be thinking about when they're talking to you today. But mainly, if you're one of our startups, just think that ultimately we're looking for companies that check all these boxes. We want companies that offer value, that have the ability to execute, and that are achieving things, and that have momentum behind them. And so when we're talking today, when you're in our various breakouts with different judges, they're going to be kind of asking you questions that lead to some of these answers about these things. Overall, we have a program that flows from beginning to end, where we see companies who apply. We invite them to pitch at events like the one today. We're going to choose 20 companies to be part of our program, which is an accelerator that'll run throughout the summer, basically, and we'll tell you about that. And then we choose companies for our finals and eventually grand prize winners. The grand prizes are certainly wonderful, but they're not the only component. We're looking to deliver value to you as a company overall and help you be successful. And a little bit about the dates for which this is going to work. So, again, we're in our final of our pitch events right now. Then we'll get into selection. So in this month, we're going to be choosing companies, and into the beginning of next month, we'll be basically meeting with our various corporate partners and seeing which companies they want to work with. And those are the ones we'll select for the accelerator and the mentorship program. That will run from July through September. We'll wrap up at the end of September in time for the MedTech Innovator Asia Pacific Showcase and Finals competition at the MedTech Forum, which is run by APAC Med. And we'll tell you a little more about that. The MedTech Forum is 26th through 27th September in Singapore. The MedTech Forum, which is run by APAC Med, is a place where the leaders of our industry in Asia Pacific will be coming together to learn about what's going on in the industry. What's the latest? What are the things that are happening? What are the trends? What are things that people need to be concerned about? What are things that are, people excited about? They'll be talking about that during the MedTech Forum, and we'll also be showcasing you, if you're selected, in a showcase like you see here on the screen. So you'll be presenting to an audience of investors and strategics and other people who are interested in what you're doing as a company. And if you're lucky enough to make it to the finals, it'll look like the picture down there at the bottom. We'll have a large audience. Our company's up on the stage presenting, and eventually the audience will choose the winner. So this is the opportunity. Our timeline, as we mentioned before, this is the last of our 5 pitch events in our Asia Pacific program. This one today is focused on digital health, SaaS, mHealth, telemedicine, wellness type of companies. We couldn't do this alone. This is not just about financial sponsorship, but this is about sponsoring us with their personnel. So you'll be meeting people today throughout the event and during your breakouts who represent the companies on the screen here. So we've got Johnson & Johnson, Nipro, Align Technology, Siemens Healthineers, Cambridge Consultants, Oliver Healthcare Packaging, Jabil Healthcare, and Enterprise Singapore. You'll get to meet people from these companies either today or in the future if you're selected for the program. These will be the people who'll be mentoring the companies in most cases in our program, as well as others. So these people are not just supporting us financially, which is very important, but they're also supporting us with their teams and with their time. So we're really lucky to have them as partners. And as I mentioned, you'll get to meet them during our event. Now, today's judging panel goes beyond those partners. We have representatives from some of the leading companies throughout Asia Pacific who are focused again on medical innovation. And you see them listed here on the screen. Again, I'm not going to read every single name. I'm just going to let you know that you'll get a chance to meet these people during our breaks. I'll introduce people. You'll also have an opportunity to meet these companies during the breakout sessions, which will be very important. So coming up from that, the most important thing, I think, is that we're going to get a chance to meet companies. And so in this lightning round, I'm going to have our 12 companies that are presenting, that you see here on the screen, present a 1-minute pitch. And the reason that we do that is that each of these companies is going to be in breakouts meeting for longer presentations, approximately 20 minutes each, with people who've said they would like to meet with them. However, there's only 4 rounds, and that means that each judge can only meet with 4 companies. And most of them said they wanted to meet with more than 4 companies. So we're actually having you meet with the judges who want to meet with you. So in that case, what we want to do is give our judges the opportunity to see all 12 of you pitch. So we're going to have you each do a 1-minute pitch and back-to-back 1-minute pitches. After that's over, then we'll go into our breakouts, which I'll tell you more about in a little bit. So with that, I want each of you, I'm going to be calling out your company. I want you to, when I do call you, unmute yourself, make sure your camera is on, and just give us a 1 minute on your company. In addition to telling us about your technology and your product, I want to make sure I know who you are. So introduce yourself, say, hi, I'm Paul Graham, the CEO of MedTech Innovator. Don't say that, but say your name. Hi, I'm whatever your name is, and you're the CEO, and tell us where you're based, maybe a little bit about yourself, and then give us your 1-minute pitch. Please have your phone or something in front of you with a stopwatch so we can keep you on a 1-minute timer. I'll try and do the same here, but if you're going to go a lot over 1 minute, we'll probably interrupt. So hopefully stick to 1 minute. And as you can see here geographically, we have companies from all across Asia Pacific. We've got companies from Australia, from India, Singapore, South Korea, and we also have companies from Europe, from the US. So, we got a nice diverse representation today, as we always do. So with that, why don't we start off with AdLife Technologies. Daish, I think, is going to give the presentation. So I'll go ahead and watch my timer here, and hopefully we can stick to 1 minute. So if you're ready, go ahead and tell us about AdLife Technologies.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Daisha Malani. I'm the CEO of AdLife. We use virtual reality to create tools to make life better for people after stroke. Globally, stroke affects 13.7 million people a year, conservatively costing $700 billion to governments and families. Shockingly, the World Stroke Organization says 1 in 4 people will have an acquired brain injury in their lifetime. We spend a lot of time with patients, families, and health professionals, and we know what their pain points are. The biggest problem is access to services, and the second is adherence to exercise. For the individual, rehabilitation is difficult and monotonous. Our solution is a cost-effective daily exercise system on a mobile virtual reality device. You choose when and where you want to do your exercises. We track your hand and body movement, providing you with motivation, and your data saves time for healthcare professionals. This not only regains function, but independence and dignity. And isn't happiness the best motivator? Recover faster while having fun with virtual reality.
Sorry, terrific. Thank you very much. Great to have you here. We'd love to have people recover faster with virtual reality. So thank you very much. All right, let's go ahead and have our next company. So that will be Foxo Technologies. So from Foxo, I believe we've got Luke. So Luke, if you're ready.
Hi, everyone. Hi, my name's Luke Fletcher. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Foxo. At Foxo, our mission is to connect the healthcare ecosystem through the delivery of a real-time borderless communication platform. Global healthcare is facing a communication crisis, and worldwide miscommunication and poor connectivity of clinical information systems are a leading cause of inefficiencies, medical error, and patient harm. So poor communication is a leading cost driver in healthcare. So as an example, a 500-bed hospital loses over $5 million annually as a result of communication inefficiencies. And previous market attempts to solve this have failed by focusing on simple plain text messaging within a siloed environment. And at Foxo, we offer much more than this. So we're an enterprise platform that goes beyond internal messaging with people. We are now interconnecting teams, systems, organizations across the entire healthcare ecosystem in a modern, secure, rich environment. So to hear more about our exciting journey of commercialization and the future of connecting 50 million healthcare workers, please join me for my 5-minute pitch later on. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Luke. Sounds terrific. Looking forward to hearing more about that. Next up, we've got Hoth Intelligence. Tyler.
Hi, everybody. Tyler Alexander, CEO, co-founder of Hoth. This on the top left is a relatively simple neurosurgical procedure, although it looks complex, where a provider makes an incision in somebody's scalp, drills a hole in the skull, and then sticks a catheter into a particular region of somebody's brain known as the ventricles. A provider does this procedure just by looking at a patient like you see in the top right of that screen. And unsurprisingly, the provider cannot see into somebody's head when performing this procedure. They're really doing this blindly. Error rates are extremely high, and they can be as high as 45% in this sort of procedure. So what we do at Hoth is use augmented reality to allow providers to see through and into patients when performing procedures like this so that they never miss. We do that by taking a patient-specific CT or MRI scan, reconstructing it 3D, loading into the HoloLens 2, and then using facial tracking to overlay that. I'm excited to share more. Thanks for your time. And at Hoth, we really are fundamentally changing the nature of medicine.
Thank you very much, Tyler. Looks very important. All right, let's move on then to Lenexa. So we've got from Lenexa, Ajit.
Hey guys, I'm Ajit Ravindran, CEO and co-founder of Lennox Medical. My other co-founder, Will Yang, is also with us today. So just in a quick summary, 60,000 people die every year in the US from pressure injuries. when most of this are mainly preventable. So Lennox Medical is aiming to solve a problem where globally we spend more than $100 billion on this. Lennox Medical came out of the University of Melbourne Design Program, and we have gone through the MedTech Accelerator Program, where we have spent the time refining a solution to the point where we have got a solution that is personalized, targeted, and provides a connected care system where we are able to provide the clinician, by acting as a second pair of eyes, information before the pressure injury is likely to form so they can step in and intervene. We've got our devices at clinical trials at some of the largest hospitals in Victoria, and we're looking to scale up in the Asia Pacific region. So we are excited to be here and share our journey with you. Thank you.
We're excited to have you here too. Thank you very much. All right. And MedTech Actuator is a great program. So glad you've been through that. All right. So let's move on to our next company, Mediotech. Sharmila.
Hi, good morning. I'm Sharmila Devdas. I'm the co-founder and MD of MedTech Health Systems. We're based out of Chennai in India. So our platform is a unique 4-in-1 digital health platform solution, which enables predictive, personalized, preventive, and curative healthcare delivery. We've been pioneers in this space, and we started out way back in 2016 when digital health was hardly a known quantity. And today we are faced with literally a heartbreaking problem in cardiovascular diseases, both micro and macro, leading to more than 20% of diseases globally, deaths globally. And sudden deaths due to cardiac arrest cause untold misery and trauma to families, friends, and community alike. Now, wouldn't it be great to have predict the risk of cardiovascular metabolic imbalance ahead of time and save lives? That's the journey our spirited 15-person team, backed by technology and clinical experts, has set out on, having designed a unique 4-in-1 digital health platform, hardware and software built with cutting-edge technologies, IoMT, mobility, cloud, analytics, data-centric, AI, and Edge ML. Our device-agnostic IoMT platform features India's first clinical-grade wearable, which transforms healthcare delivery and management. Our composite AI platform computes cuffless BP on the edge and CVD metabolic imbalance risk in the cloud, enabling early intervention. That's the need of the hour. Thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to hear more about that later, Sharmila. Thank you. All right. Next up, we've got Mobio Interactive, Dr. Bashar Saab.
Thanks, pleasure to be here. I'm Dr. Bashar Saab, formerly a principal investigator of neuroscience at the Zurich Psychiatric Hospital, and now the CEO and the chief scientist at Mobio Interactive. A central problem in mental health care is the ability to personalize at scale and to deliver care at the level of personalization that's necessary for good treatment. And the way that we solve this problem at Mobio Interactive is by delivering proven psychotherapy programs that are clinically validated and then delivered asynchronously and on demand within a tool that allows us to objectively measure the efficacy of that therapy in real time on each patient. And of course, this then allows us to personalize accordingly. We have good traction within 3 verticals of health systems, payers, as well as with pharma clients. And we're very much on a path towards delivering precision psychiatry at scale to people all around the globe.
Terrific. That is exactly what we all need. So I'm really glad you guys are doing that. All right, we're going to hear more about that in our breakouts. Thank you very much, Mobio. Okay, so next up, we have, did I go too fast? Yes. So next up, we've got MX Labs, Remy.
Hi, everyone. I'm Remy Kościelny. I'm co-founder and CEO of MX Labs. We are based in Estonia and Poland. So what we present today is Shen AI. It's a remote tool for measurement of physiological and mental vital signs. Our technology scans human face for 60 seconds and provides a range of readings, including heart rate variability, breathing rate, SpO2, and blood pressure, and more to come in the future. And the most important thing is it requires only a smartphone or computer to operate. No additional hardware is necessary for patient. So Shen AI saves time of medical staff, delivers widely accessible prevention and self-care tools, as well as cheap remote vital signs measurement and monitoring. It can be implemented in any mobile or desktop or web-based digital and video consultation platforms. And it's accurate, fast, and secure. ShaneAI is in the process of medical certification as a medical device class 2A, which we expect to get in the next year. Our business model is pay-per-use and monthly subscriptions, with the first customers already signed in. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. I got plenty of questions for that. Looking forward to the break where we can break out, where we can talk about it. All right. Sure. Next up, we got NemoCare, NemoCare Wireless. Manoj.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Manoj. I'm the co-founder of NemoCare Wellness. We're a startup focused on revolutionizing newborn care. Close to 640,000 newborn babies lose their life to life-threatening conditions like neonatal sepsis, and we have a silent pandemic in the form of antimicrobial resistance. After a year-long immersion program and going through the biodesign process at the Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad, we have come up with a holistic solution, the NemoCare Raksha, which comprises of a medical-grade IoT-enabled wearable device, clinical decision support system, and an AI platform, which help in aiding doctors by putting deep technology to ensure that the decision-making capability is augmented. Soon, we hope to be a part of a world where no child ever dies of a cause is completely prevented. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope the same thing. So that's great technology, it sounds like. All right. Looking forward to learning more about NemoCare. Thank you. Next up, we've got Nervotech and Sherry presenting.
Hi everyone. I'm Sherry, the product lead of Nervotech. We are a digital health company that measures your vital signs remotely and contactlessly across multiple mobile platforms. So through our proprietary video-based technology, we are able to measure one's heart rate variability, respiration rate, and oxygen saturation levels. And by the end of this year, we will also be able to measure blood pressure through our predictive AI models. So our software solutions are currently used in professional sports, corporate health, insurance, telemedicine, and government sectors worldwide. And our mission is to transform the way people access healthcare, truly enabling healthcare anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Looking forward to learning more as well. Let's move on then to Peace of Mind with Artek presenting.
Hi, I'm Artek Kalantarian, one of the founders of Peace of Mind AI. And I'll start by quoting Plato, "Strange times are these in which we live." We can monitor in near real time what's happening on planet Mars 130 million miles away, yet we have no idea how our loved ones are doing in the next town or even next street. As one of the 40 million family caregivers of a senior with Alzheimer's, we found out that the tools were expensive, they were very difficult to set up and pair, and did not work well for our purposes. That's why we teamed with a PhD from UCLA and came up with a remote health and wellness monitoring solution that works on pretty much any $70 off-the-shelf smartphone most seniors and their caregivers already have. The system requires no manual data entry, runs in the background and provides real-time data as well as summary information to the caregivers. And amazingly, our platform is the only solution available right now on the market. And in addition to telling you that things went bad, it can also assure you that things are well. So I hope it does truly provide peace of mind to caregivers. Thank you.
Thank you. I know there's a lot of caregivers out there that could use peace of mind. So I'm glad you guys are working on this. All right. Next up, Skia, S-K-I-A, and Tim.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Hi, my name is Tim, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Skia. And I want to talk to you about our unique solution that will change the medical imaging market. So currently, the essential problem with the medical imaging system is that doctors have to look at several hundred slides of CT or MRI images and imagine them in 3D, which leads to deviation in operation duration, depending on the experience of the doctors. And our team has developed Skia Mars as a digital surgery guide solution based on augmented reality that superimposes patients' medical images with a real-time camera view of the patient. The greatest thing about our solution is that it is essentially markerless. Unlike other medical AR solutions, we don't need to install additional cameras or markers for AR registration. This key difference makes our product much more convenient and easier to use. Without engaging with the complexity of the traditional medical AR solutions, the surgeons can concentrate solely on the operation, improving both the accuracy and stability of the procedure. We hope this will make the medical environment safer and more efficient for doctors and patients. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Looking forward to learning how you do that in a markerless way. That's great. Okay, let's move on then to Welby Therapeutics, Abhishek.
Hey everyone, my name is Abhishek. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Welby Therapeutics. Real-world outcomes today looks further and further away than ever before, and especially for traditional care plans, traditional devices, traditional drugs, while spending a few $1 trillion a year. So we're certain that the way to solve real-world outcomes is by using software as a medical device and delivering that through companion digital therapeutics and digital care, and using that to augment the traditional therapeutics and then to augment real-world outcomes. The best people who know how to solve real-world outcomes sit locally. These are the people that we enable and we empower using a no-code, configurable operating system with the front end, back end that we have built on our platform. This enables best-in-class compliant, regulatory compliant digital therapeutics and digital care to then ensure we can solve for real-world outcomes together and globally. Our platform is regulatory compliant. It has the data stacks, omnichannel communication, is CE marked and is undergoing FDA approval. Today we work with a bunch of key partners in pharma, in MedTech, in payers across Asia and the EU. Got 100,000 patients under management, already $1 million in revenue and counting. I'm super excited to be able to impact a 100 million patient goal that we've set out in the next 5 years. So really excited to have a conversation.
Terrific. Thank you very much, Abhishek. That is very exciting, and glad to have you here. All right, so those are our pitch companies. What we're going to do now is I'm going to move on quickly to a very quick orientation for any judges who are new for us today. Most of our judges have done this before, but just very quickly, you've got a form, your Kobo judging form, which you heard Sakina mention earlier. Basically, you log into that form and you'll see something that looks like this. It has a list of the different pitch companies. You click the little radio button next to the company that you'll be meeting with. So when you're in the room and company introduces themselves, you can click that little radio button, scroll down a little bit and answer the question if you were previously aware of the company, yes or no. That just lets us know if we're doing well at surfacing companies that people haven't heard from before. Then we get to your pitch notes. That's a place you can actually fill in your notes. We're going to email you your notes at the end of the session today. So you don't have to take notes somewhere else. We can send it to you right from our system. So you get all your pitch notes. No one else is going to see that. But the next box is something that people will see. That's our feedback box, and that's very important. We anonymously will send feedback to the companies. All too often, companies pitch in events like this, and then everybody claps and says, great job, terrific. And then you leave the room and everybody says, boy, that was terrible. and you never get that feedback. And you walk out and you go, God, they all clapped. That was great. But we want to make sure you hear the feedback. So if there's anything that's confusing judges, anything that you think will help the company, constructive criticism, things that you think will help them in their future pitches, please give them some feedback. You can just keep it short and sweet, but give them some feedback in this box. You can also say wonderful things about the company. You know, if you say, hey, terrific team, and really think what you're doing is great, you know, you can give them positive things too. The point is, but give them honest feedback. That's what we're looking to do. Then we have some ratings questions. Again, you're just scrolling down a form. Rate the innovation, transformational, meaning it's really going to move the needle in care. Incremental, it's just a step up from what is already out there, or me too. It's no better than what else is out there. We want you to rate the technology in those ways. Overall likelihood of success, with a 1 being the weakest, 10 being the strongest. We're just looking for, not relative to the other companies pitching today, but in general, how likely do you think this company is to be successful? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Factors in likelihood of success, that's a scale of 1 to 5. And we want you to rate the company and its value to the patient. Some of these things may not have a direct value to the patient. That's fine. You can give that a 3 if it's a neutral score. Technical feasibility, again, weak would be 1, 5 would be really strong. Strength of the team, not just the person presenting, but the overall team. Health economics and value business model. We just want to know, do you think the business model makes sense? 5 would be super strong, 1 would be weak. Likelihood of funding. Would you write a check for this company? You don't have to be an investor to answer that question. I'm just saying, put your hat on as someone who writes checks, and would you invest your money in this company? And do you think this company is likely to raise capital? So that 5 would be a very strong response there. Then we have 3 questions related to their free text. So you can just type whatever you want here. The first one is related to risks. We want you to identify some of the risks or concerns you have with this company. So for example, you might say, oh, I think, your cost of goods are way too high, or your leadership really doesn't have the, the skills that we think that it requires to be successful in the space. Whatever concerns you think it might be, too many competitors and they're not aware of them, whatever it is, just tell us. The next one, we want to know what's good about the company. What are the things they're doing right? So tell us, again, just highlights. You don't have to give us paragraphs here, just highlights. Really strong team, really strong investor interest, and so on. Third, validation. How well does the company understand its stakeholders, and have they validated that? So we want to know, have you gone out and, are you just sitting in a corner somewhere working on this yourself? Or are you out talking to lots of people? Maybe you already have customers and that's validating things. Whatever it is, give us, again, some highlights about validation. Last section here, suggested resources. This is a box where, as you sit down, judges, with each of the pitch companies and you're meeting with the company, if they don't volunteer it themselves, we'd like you to ask the company, what are some of the things that you could get out of MedTech Innovator? For example, you might say, hey, you're based in Korea and you're looking to enter the Chinese market. Do you understand that market? Or is that something that MedTech Innovator could help you with? Do you have those resources yourself? Or maybe it could be things related to your business model. Whatever it is, any things that you think the MedTech Innovator overall ecosystem can provide. Some of the mentorship and other things that we have. So again, something beyond just helping to raise capital. If advanced in our diligence process, would you be interested in a follow-up call? Judges, this is a really simple question. It just means that over the next month or so, as we're kind of going through all these companies that have pitched us, we may have questions and say, boy, we really didn't get to that. Would you be willing, Judge, to get on the phone and have a call with the company and ask them some more questions? It doesn't mean we're going to call you and make you do that. It just means that you're letting us know that you would be interested in one of those people who would have a follow-up call if we select this company. Additional comments, or if we forgot, or if you think of something that you realize at the last minute, boy, I thought of something else I would like to share, you could put in the additional comments box. And then finally, you can either submit or save draft. If you're done and the next company is pitching or about to pitch, hit the submit button and your scores will be recorded. If you say, oh my gosh, the other company's pitching and I haven't finished, just hit save draft. The form will be saved in the corner of your browser in the upper left. You'll see a little number there for 1 if it's only 1 saved form, or 2 or 3. You can always come back later, click that button, it'll expand and you can finish filling in your comments and then submit. So that is how it's going to work for the judges. And again, we will email you all that information, judges, before the event is over so that we can discuss it in our deliberation together. So what's coming up now is our pitch sessions. Startups, again, for you, if you haven't done this before, which you haven't with us in most cases, this is how this works. We have 20 minutes for each round. That does not mean it's a 20-minute PowerPoint presentation. It means it's more like a 5 to 7 minute PowerPoint presentation. Let's call it 7 minutes max. And we want to get time for Q&A. If we want to just read your deck, we could have just read your deck. We want to ask you questions, so leave us lots of time for that. If you feel that you're going long, please, stop yourself and say, hey, I'll pause here and I'll take some questions. It's really important that we have a chance to ask you questions, because if we don't, we won't be able to evaluate you, and then we won't be able to select you to be in the program. So give us time for questions. About halfway through your pitch, you'll be watching and you'll see a little notice go across the top of the screen that'll say, 10 minutes left. Then might be one for 5 minutes and then 1 minute. So we're trying to give you advance warnings that you need to be wrapping up. If you're at 10 minutes and you still haven't finished your pitch, you need to wrap up. You really want to make sure that we have time for Q&A. Besides that, again, judges, make sure you ask the questions about what resources the company might be looking for that we could potentially help with. And again, offer feedback. So judges, if you listen to something and you think it's confusing, or if you're not really sure about something, tell the company and say, hey, I'm a little confused about this business model. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Or I'm a little confused about why you're going to, enter this market when this other one will be better. Whatever it is, you just offer feedback. That's what you're here for, because not all these companies are going to advance to our program, and I'd like them to get something out of today. So whatever feedback you can give them would be great. One last thing, all of the contact information for everybody in today's pitch event is in our bio book, which everybody got in advance of the event. It's in the calendar invite. We can also post it in the chat here in the Zoom. And so if you're here on our Zoom and you're part of our program, you're one of the pitch companies or one of our partners, not somebody on YouTube, but all the others, you'll be able to get all the contact information, and you can reach out to each other later. You don't have to exchange contact information during the Zoom. So that's it. That's the overall ground rules. During each round's break, so after the 20 minutes, we'll all come back here. We'll be recording the sessions just to make sure any judges that missed it have a chance to watch them. It won't be publicly broadcast, all your pitches, but those will be available for our partner judges to watch later. But when we come back during the breaks, we'll have about 5 minutes in between each round. At that point, I'll introduce some of our partners and judges so that everybody can get a chance to get to know them. So again, that's the overview. For those of you on Zoom, we're going to be ending here, not Zoom, on YouTube. Zoom, everyone you stay. But for YouTube, if you're here on YouTube, we're going to be wrapping up here for you. You can learn more about these companies at medtechinnovator.org, medtechinnovator.asia, either one. You'll be able to read a little more about the companies. You can watch the lightning rounds from our past pitch events. And then you'll be able to monitor the program as we progress during the program. So thanks for all of you who are here on